Welcome. Let's get that centered. It's day 18. It's time to get personal, which was a goal when starting this anyway. Part of the main reason I want to be filming this when there's no real end purpose is it's a case study of a lost modern human. The title of this channel. This is just one. This is a lost modern human, but sometimes case studies can be quite revealing. The reason I wanted to do that is I have goals, I have ambitions of freeing myself from just crazy amounts of anxiety and being lost. I want to be found by myself. You know, that cliche phrase. The thing I wanted to talk about today is in relation to my day. I was attacked by my own mind. Not an autoimmune, but auto-mental. I don't know. I know I'm not the only one experiencing this, which is why I want to talk about it. I know there's other people out there, and it's probably a large factor the world that we live in today and the easy availability of several things. Basically just there are strange afflictions that we face in today's world. And this is not everybody, but maybe just in a small sector of the world, or at least one portion, and that would be the modern civilizations. Some people might write this off as first world problems. Things such as not afflictions of lack of, say, medicine or food or water, which there are people in the world that lack those things, but there are afflictions of affluence, such as not knowing what to choose to do with your life and having near unlimited options. In this free world of the United States, it's a blessing and a curse of being able to choose whatever you want. I'm currently reading, as I've said, Myths of Light by Joseph Campbell, which talks about the Hindu philosophy and the religion and way of life behind all of that. And people are born into different castes in the caste system, which I'm not saying I actually have a very strong initial resistance to when reading and hearing about it. It sounds almost repulsive to a degree, but as Campbell points out, it's when you go there, and he probably went there in the 50s or 60s, I think, 1950s, 1960s, and he mentions that at first it's overwhelming how kind of sad and terrible it all looks, but then once that settles, you start to get a sense of peace and acceptance all throughout, because there's so much, like, poverty doesn't even begin to explain the situation. But anyway, I was having, I didn't think I had them. Apparently I do have panic attacks. And I think part of this journey I'm on right now, getting off of stimulants, I believe and it's something that I've known that I've needed to do for a while to understand baseline me. And I had no idea how much different the experience would be. This might sound over dramatic, whatever, but it's what I'm experiencing. So I think maybe the use of substances like stimulants have been masking various aspects of anxiety, and sometimes they exacerbate the anxiety, but sometimes maybe they, because they cause the relief of hormones like norepinephrine, epinephrine, those catecholamines that give you a sense of euphoria to some degree. So that could, you get overstimulated and you get anxiety, but there's also a different kind of stimulation or a different kind of result from the stimulation where you do not feel as anxious, or maybe it's masking other feelings that you have underlying your general state of being. And man, I got back from the gym. I didn't go this morning. I think that contributed as well. There's a lot of factors. As human beings, the chemical milieu that's going on in our brains and in our bodies as a whole is so complex. But yeah, I got back from the gym and I was just sitting there trying to think of what to do for my second workout. God, this sounds so privileged. I hate that term, but I was just sitting there trying to figure out what to do, essentially with how to structure the rest of my day. And I was just overwhelmed. It was debilitating. I wanted to cry, and it sounds so pathetic in some ways. I get it. But that was my experience, and it was interesting. It was very intense. It was very troubling. It was honestly depressing in a way, and it was also frustrating because it is, I can recognize what the F do I have to worry about? Why can't I just enjoy this time where I have the, dare I say, privilege to decide what to do with the rest of my day, and I don't have too many external factors deciding for me. With that freedom comes responsibility, and I don't think I've been acting on my responsibility the way that I want to, and that puts self-pressure in my head, and it was like hating myself and hating the world all at the same time. Oh, it was exhausting, and like I said, frustrating, and man, this journey is rough. But yeah, that's just part of the experience. What I wanted to add to that to cover the whole of this topic today is don't be afraid to lean on your close circle, your friends, your family, whoever you have in those times of dire situations. That's why, and this is more meant to be comfort for those that care about me and love me. And I say this, because I've been going through some real lows over the past few years, some real highs too. I've been asked the question like, well, have you ever thought about suicide? And I say no. I'm not gonna lie, it's crossed my mind, because that's like a natural reaction when you're just overwhelmed by terrible feeling, to think, can this just stop? But I don't think I ever could go through with that genuinely, because when all is said and done, even during those moments, I know that there are highs to be experienced in life, and I don't mean drug highs. I mean just the high points of, like, when you get excited about anything. For me, it's honestly, as nerdy as it sounds, when I read about or hear about something, like with podcasts, which is one thing that's really kind of been a crutch that I did not know I was leaning on as much. I knew I was, but cutting that out this month has actually been harder than I thought, way harder. But those moments where I learned something that's really freaking cool and I want to share with somebody, and even more of a high than that is when I get to share those things that I've learned, and not just share and bleh, this is what I heard, bleh, this is what I read, bleh, but have a back and forth with someone, and it's just so cool. And that's why I want to get to the point where I am having conversations with people and recording them and sharing them in whatever capacity makes sense, hopefully whatever capacity is worth something. Yeah, I don't think I ever could go through with something like that, because I know that there are, God, as chaotic and terrible and terrifying and depressing as this life can get, that's part of the beauty, is without those cloudy days, you don't appreciate the sunny ones. It really, these cliches are just so dang true. I hope I'm speaking to someone out there who needs to hear that, and it's not just me repeating cliches. That's one of my fears and self-doubts, is that this is all just regurgitated nonsense that some people will think. But maybe someone's going through something similar, and if you are, lean on a friend, lean on your loved ones, reach out to somebody. Don't be afraid if someone or multiple people don't give you the time immediately. I'm sure there's someone out there that will. I happen to have a friend that I got cut off a phone call from yesterday, and reached out to him, and we chatted for over an hour, and I actually had to end the conversation because I had to jump in the shower because my roommate got back and I didn't want to hog the shower. I was just standing there waiting to finish the call. It really helped having someone to talk that through. And I also went on my 45-minute walk. I was gonna bike outside, and then just decision. It's like choosing from the Cheesecake Factory menu, but in life format. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has experienced that, so you're not alone either. Just keep pushing through. Never give up on life. I mean, even in what should be the best times of your life, you can experience some of the lowest moments. Man, today felt like a low moment. I mean, I was screaming at the universe. I was screaming at God, and I don't even believe in a single God, so to speak. I have spiritual beliefs of sorts, but that's life. Thus is life. And this is one thing I wanted to capture, is at some point there's going to be real lows, and I want to somehow portray that. I'm learning. I'm trying. We're all just trying here, right? And that's what we need to keep in mind. When we see anyone who maybe makes a mistake, cuts you off in traffic, rushes to get in front of you in line to order food, or maybe check out at the grocery store or Walmart, whatever, when someone seems to malign you, just remember that they're another human being, and you don't know what's going through their mind at the moment, what's going through their life, what kind of pressure they're under. It's all just millions and millions of pressure cookers out there, and we're all just waiting to pop. So just be kind not to add to that pressure. Be gentle and persevere, because that's what we are. We're humans. We're persevering animals. It's crazy what we can go through. Anywho, thanks for tuning in, but this is already long enough, so thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow, and maybe in the next video I'm about to record, because there was some cool stuff about Hinduism that I want to talk about. Bye.